I thought we'd never get to this moment. Hey guys! So for this one, I'm thinking if I will be able to resist temptation. So I got quite a challenge ahead of myself. But anyways, let's get into this. So quick little backstory. I received an email from a new puzzle brand called Spark Puzzles. They asked me if I'd be interested in trying one of their puzzles. So I was like, yeah, of course, send me that one. And instead they sent me this one, which is okay. But anyways, this one is called Neon of the Abyss. The artist is Phillipa von Rekowski. I think I said that right. It's 1,000 pieces and it's 70 by 50 centimeters when it's completed. And this is definitely an image that I wouldn't typically go for. I can't imagine myself swimming with jellyfish. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. But, whatever, that's okay. I'll take a puzzle to try it out, especially if it's a new to me brand or a new brand in general. But, what I will say about the image is that the colors of the jellyfish, they look great. Though I must say the image in general looks like it's going to be extremely challenging. Look at the background here. This is obviously in the water, but it's very dark. But the one thing about this particular brand, and this is going back to what I mentioned earlier about resisting temptation, these kind of puzzles have like those letters in the back of it. I don't really off the top of my head remember what you call those kind of puzzles, if there isn't actually a term for it. I probably should have looked it up before I started filming, but anyways. The point that I'm trying to make here is that considering this image looks like it'll be nearly impossible for me to put together, will I be able to resist the temptation of using the letters in the back to kind of sort it, piece it together, that whole kind of thing? I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this style of puzzle, the ones with the letters on the back, because they kind of see it as cheating in a way. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like these kind of puzzles make you cheat, or do you consider it cheating, or you don't care about it? I'd be curious to hear what you say. But for someone like me, I would try, or I like to try to do my puzzles without any help. I guess that's the best way to put it. But considering that the help is there in this puzzle, I don't know if I'm gonna take it or not. But my challenge to myself is to not do that. But the more I look at it, maybe I should just stop trying to challenge myself and just use the letters. But anyways, that's aside from that, I also want to see what the quality is like on this brand. And I hope as well that these colors are just as bright on the puzzle pieces as they are on this box. It's kind of hard to tell because I'm pretty sure I'm in front of my window, so you're getting a lot of reflection on this, so it's probably driving your eyes nuts. But anyways, I want to do this puzzle, and I know that I have at least one other one like that in my collection. I do have this one here. It's called the 12 Constellation Palace, and this one was sent to me by James, and it's also 1,000 pieces, and it's 68 by 68 centimeters when it's completed. Now, I don't see the brand on this one, but that's okay. It's another one with letters on the backing. So if I happen to go through this one fairly quick, I might jump into this one and see what this one's like as well. I don't know. The whole point of this is to basically, not only review Spark puzzles, but I want to know if I am going to do the puzzle like I normally do, or am I just going to use the letters in the back? Either way, it's fine. As long as I get them done and I have fun, that's what matters at the end of the day. But anyways, guys, I'm going to stop yapping because I'm pretty sure if I'm going to resist the temptation, this will take me probably 5 years. So we better get started. So let's go do that. All right, so let's open this up. Now, this does have plastic wrap on it, so let's very carefully get this off without cutting the box. All right, now let's see. How do we go about opening this? Oh, opens from the front here. It's like a little, kind of like a little case. This is really nice, magnetic in the front. And here we go. Now we have something on the top of the box here. It says assist patterns. 1, 2, 3. I don't actually know what any of this means, but I'm sure I'll figure that out as I get through the pieces. So let's look at those. Now we have ourselves, this does not feel like a plastic bag. This almost feels like one of those compostable ones, but it does look like a resealable one, which is good. So let's get this open very carefully without tearing it up. All right, nice and easy. Now, so far I'm seeing there is no reference image, but to be honest, the front of the box is fairly big, so you got a pretty good reference image, and besides, you don't got much going on here anyways, so that is going to be okay. But I guess if you have letters in the back, you don't really need a reference image. But anyways, let's empty this out. And in terms of puzzle dust, I see only very little. You have like a few little shavings here on my finger, as you can see, but not very much. We'll know more as we get through the pieces and see if there's any falling to the bottom. But anyways, let's look at these pieces. We got ourselves a pretty good print here. It is kind of hard for me to tell whether it's on the blurry side or not because, you know, the type of image this is supposed to be underwater. So I'm not sure if this is meant to look slightly blurry. I don't think it's really showing well on the camera, especially when it's not focusing. But anyways, the colors look pretty true to the box image, which is nice. And let's take a look at the backing real quick here. I'm going to flip these over. Hopefully this camera's still focusing, but if not, I'll get it to in just a moment. So now I can make out what this means here. So this is referencing to the print that's on the backing of the puzzle, and that's the shape of what the letters are set in. So as you can see there, it's kind of like with the tips pointing up, and it has the letter inside it. So I'm guessing that means, well, not guessing, it's pretty straightforward. It's telling you that those pieces, when you lay them on the board or on your table, it's going to be this side up. They look to be cut very well. I haven't come across any pieces with the backing stuck to it. Pieces feel pretty darn strong. Let's take a look at the piece thickness here. We got ourselves 0.08 inches, or we have 2 millimeters. Piece size overall, these look pretty darn good, but let's get an exact measurement here with this particular piece. We have a 25.2 millimeters, or we have 0.99 inches, so just about an inch with that one. Let's check out another one here. This one here is 1.2 inches, or 30.7 millimeters. So you got yourself 1-inch pieces here. You also have a good variety of, you know, piece shapes with different sizes and variations of, you know, the same pieces. Now I'm facing this towards my window because I still have a lot of natural light coming in, and we have our dark piece and light piece, and so far I'm really not seeing much of a glossy finish here. Not bad at all. But as always, I am super curious as to how these pieces are gonna hold together, so we shall see. We're definitely gonna get through the spark puzzle and pretty much see how I get through this one. If I end up using the backing to kind of help me get through it, and I still have some time, or I want to, you know, spend more time working on these kind of puzzles, I might jump into this one, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, if I'm gonna end up doing both of these, I got a lot of work ahead of me, so you know what, let's move on. Alright, so going through all these pieces, I can tell this is going to be a nightmare. But anyways, here's what I did. We have edge pieces in one tray. Next tray here is all the very light yellow pieces, so it's anything from this area here. Next tray we got kind of like these more solid pink and orange colors. Like, that's really the only way I can describe it. And I believe it's anything in this area. Next we have light purple and pink pieces here, which is going to be jellyfish. Next tray is absolutely huge and probably going to be my worst nightmare. But that's only if I don't give in to the temptation. But anyways, this is all the solid black pieces. So yeah, pretty big majority of that puzzle. Next part here, we have more black pieces, but there's shades of blue in there, as you can see, which are gonna be any of these like tentacle-y areas. This tray is kind of the same as well, but it's more of the purple and blue. So you kind of have both colors going on here. And then the final tray is, I guess, more blacks with blues. Honestly, I don't even know. But yeah, the letters on the back may prove to be very useful. So yeah, let's see how far I can get through this without giving in. Probably won't be long. Let's go. All right, I'm just really struggling here. And my biggest problem, I guess, is the image. I am just really struggling to find, I guess you can say, the urge or the motivation to piece it together. And it's not that it's ugly or anything, it's just at the end of the day, it's not my style. And I really want to try to get through it, but considering that there's so many pieces that look pretty much the same, there's not too much going on in the image, you know, there's a lot of dark. I don't know. I've been working on this for about 30 minutes so far, and I've only got like maybe 2 or 3 little areas that I was able to piece together with more than 2 pieces in. I wish I never sorted it the way I did in the beginning. I just kind of feel like now I'm gonna have to flip over what I have here so far. I don't honestly feel like I want to work on it. The image is not doing it for me. It's not sparking anything with me. So yeah, enough with trying to resist the temptation. I'm just gonna take the help because I just want to get through it. I want to get this done and move on. So yeah, let's just do that. All right, so in about 5 minutes, this is what I've done so far. I took just one tray and put them all upside down and just grouped them by the letters. So we have our C's, but we gotta make sure, like the box says, that the arrow on the letter is pointing up. So I'm making sure that's how they're all laid out here, and then I'm gonna flip them over and then start trying to piece it up that way. Yeah, I apologize. I was thinking I can get away with doing this image without the help of the backing, but you know what? Maybe that would have worked if it was a different kind of image, but with something like this, there's just absolutely no way. And I should have just did this from the very start, but it is what it is. We learn, right? At the end of the day, you do what makes you happy and what works best for you. And with something like this, I'm just gonna have to use that, and it's okay. It's all good. Life goes on. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue on with this process, grouping it by letters and maybe lining it up by the changes in the grayscale, making sure the arrow's up, and then flip them over, piece it together, get through it, and yeah, let's do that. All right, well, in terms of messes, I must say I've outdone myself this time. And believe it or not, I do know what's going on here, even though you probably can't tell. There is a form of organization here. Since going about using the backing for this image, I've actually got progress. And I think what may also help me is not only lining them up the way they're supposed to be sat on the image, but I figured let me try sorting them by shape as best as I could. So yeah, it's not my ideal form of puzzling or way of puzzling, but you know, as I said, I just want to get this image completed so that I can move on to the next. So you know what? Let's continue. Maybe actually I'll probably try to organize this a little bit better. But anyways, let's do that and let's move on. I've pretty much cleaned up my table with all the loose pieces that were hanging about, and now I am finally down to the tray with all the solid black pieces. And I still have all of the edge pieces as well. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna resort all this by letter and kind of line it up by the tones, the grayscale tone. And speaking of, I've been going back and forth between editing this video and puzzling, and I realized during one of the earlier clips that I didn't really finish mentioning what any of this meant up here. So I know I went over number 2 here, which is basically lining up of the pattern. So all 3 of these are supposed to assist you in putting this puzzle together. And so far I've only really been lining up the pieces with the point of the shape sticking up, and by letter But I feel like I should also make separate piles. Well, I know I've been doing that a little bit throughout, but more in terms of like lighter shades up top and darker shades towards the bottom. So like light, medium, dark by letter in that way. So that's what this number 1 diagram here, that's what that means. So the puzzle goes from the top lightest to darkest. And then over here is, the letters. It's only if it's flipped the other way with the letters facing up, because once you flip it the other way with the image facing you, then A is actually the top right side of the puzzle. I'm hoping I explained that okay. I feel like that was a bit of a ramble session, but anyways, as you can see, we got most of the jellyfish done, and now it's pretty much just a case of getting all the rest of the darkness in there. Yeah, let's attack this monstrosity of a tray. All right, so I've got that tray all resorted now. Look at me, I even went about going by color tones as best as I could. So I kind of did it backwards from what's on there because I know this section is gonna be over there. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. But I do have to say though, after resorting all this, the way I have now, really the way the box kind of tells you how to go about it, I feel like I went about this very wrong since the very start. And considering that I knew this image was going to be very challenging for myself and it wasn't necessarily my dream image, I should have just gone about sorting it in the very beginning, just like this. Now I know for next time, knowing me, I'd forget about all this and just go about it however I'm feeling at the moment. But anyways, I'm feeling much better about this now, I think. So yeah, let's just finally do it. Looking back at these clips while editing, I can't help but shake my head at how much I rambled and repeated myself at times. Fitting, really, that this was just as challenging to edit as the puzzle was to work on. But anyways, these images are created by real artists, authentic, original artwork. No AI here. And maybe I'm crazy, but I don't remember if the first link I received described their puzzles as highly challenging, hence the letters on the backing. But that helping hand pushed me to puzzle very differently, focusing on piece shapes, practicing my ABCs, and really challenging my eyesight with the gradient. It took my focus off not loving the image, and after about 6 hours, when it finally came together, I sat and gazed at it for a while and gained a real appreciation for its simplicity and magical aura. I may not have seen it all come together properly, but honestly, without that helping hand, I probably never would have finished it. And I wouldn't be rambling about my final thoughts on Spark puzzles right now. Wow, I thought we'd never get to this moment. Thankfully, it is all done, and most importantly, I still have my sanity. But anyways, before I get into the brand review, I just have to say, even though this image is not my thing, looking at it now, finished on my table, it is very pretty. It's a very simple image, but not at the same time, if that makes sense. It just has this mystique to it. It's something about it is just very dreamy to me. And maybe it's the artist's use of colors, but it's fantastic. And that leads me to my first point on my thoughts on the overall quality of Spark puzzles. The print is excellent. The colors are so vibrant, they just pop and look just as amazing, if not better, than what's on the box image. It's a smooth matte finish, so I did not deal with glare, which was especially good for filming. And I didn't come across any damaged pieces, which was nice considering the last experience I had with another brand. And there was very minimal puzzle dust. And overall, I found them to be sturdy, and you do have a standard piece size for the puzzle count. Plus, I thought there was a good variety of piece shapes. Now, in terms of the hold, this was an interesting one because I didn't feel like it was very consistent throughout the entire puzzle, at least not with my puzzle. It did pass the pickup test in the end, but during the whole puzzling venture, Some areas and sections had a pretty good hold to them, and I was able to easily flip big and small sections around, while others seemed a bit loose and crumbly. And now that I think about it, that probably had more to do with the piece shapes in that particular section. I don't know. But the more I think about it, the more I'm now feeling like overall I was pretty satisfied with it. Considering I worked on it 95% of the time from the backing and had to flip everything, could it have been better? Yes, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. Look, I got through this ordeal and I was pretty happy with it. Now, on the website, these puzzles at regular price are about $40, but I do see they are sometimes posted on sale for $28. Now, $40 is a bit steep for me personally, but I do understand that price tag is to support the artist and their original work. And to be fair, it does come in a very nice box, and the overall quality is very good in my opinion. I would wait for a sale, only because I'm cheap. But it's a very nice splurge if you want something that's going to really challenge you. And if you want to support real artists and not all the AI stuff that's been coming out. As nightmarish as the beginning of this journey was, I was happy that the more I got into the groove of it, the more fun I started having with it. It was certainly a very interesting experience and very different considering I've always pieced together a puzzle by looking at the actual image. It really wasn't bad at all. It was just different. But I still prefer looking at the image while I puzzle. But what are your thoughts about these letters in the back puzzles? Do you like them? Do you find them pointless? Do you feel like it takes away from the whole experience? Or are you like, thank goodness I have this, or else I'd never finished a puzzle? Let me know. But anyways, guys, I need to move on to my next puzzling adventure. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you are well, and I'll see you in the next one.